Hey Cougars, welcome back for another week of art. So I was talking with my daughter this weekend about stories that I used to read to her when she was a little girl. She said, "Mom, do you remember the story about the princesses and the tree?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." So we pulled out the old book and I wanted to read it to you. And then we're going to do an art project based off of the story. So the story is called The Princesses and the Kingshuk Tree. So here's the picture in the book. Here's the picture. And here we go. So you're just going to listen to the story while I read it, and then we will do a project. All right. Relax. Be very still and listen. Listen carefully to this tale about 4 princesses who lived in a grand palace in a distant land. They were very curious girls, so when they heard about a tree of breathtaking beauty, they longed to see it. But this was no ordinary tree. It was a magic tree. Do you want to know why? Let's see if we can find out. Now, the young princesses had been very well educated about everything in their own land, especially all the animals, flowers, and trees that could be found there. They even had a zoo in the palace with exotic birds and animals from all over the world. And with the collection of trees and flowers, the gardens were said to be beyond compare. So the princesses were very surprised one day to hear the gardener mention a special tree in the palace grounds known as the Kingshuk, as none of them had ever come across this tree before. The princesses were so intrigued by what they heard that they were determined to see it. The day after their lessons, they went to find the gardener and asked him to take them to this wonderful tree. "It would be my pleasure, your highnesses," said the gardener, "but the Kingshuk tree is a magic tree. People can only see it on their birthday. The rest of the time, it's invisible. So I'll only be able to take one of you at a time, and you'll each have to wait until your birthday." The princesses agreed and decided that it was only right and proper for the eldest to go first. And so it was on that eldest princess's birthday in the bright spring morning, the gardener and the girls set out to find the Kingshuk tree. And there's the picture of the eldest princess. After walking for a while, they came to the edge of the royal forest where the gardener said that it grew. The princess saw a tall willowy tree standing apart, but the gardener could see nothing, so she knew that this was indeed the magical Kingshuk tree. She stood entranced by the beautiful tree. Its small green leaves were unfurling like sparkling emeralds, and the princess was filled with the joyful energy. As they left the garden, the gardener asked her not to talk about what had happened, so she wouldn't spoil the tree's magic for her sisters. As spring rolled into summer, the second eldest princess, that would be this one here, the second eldest princess celebrated her birthday, and the gardener took her to find the Kingshuk tree. She gasped when she saw it, for it was an explosion of deep red blossoms. Whoa, deep red blossoms. Glowing like rubies. The princess swooned as she smelled the heavenly perfume of the magical flowers, which filled her with a great sense of happiness. The gardener asked her, too, not to discuss the tree until all the girls had seen it. The hot summer days were turning to autumn when the gardener brought the third princess to see the Kingshuk tree on her birthday. It's this princess. Her eyes widened when she saw its boughs crammed with luscious purple fruits, which hung from the tree like giant amethysts, which is like a green, beautiful green, sparkly stone, like rock. The magic tree was so enticing that she felt as if she were feeding her with its goodness and generosity. And once again, the gardener asked her, like her sisters, not to talk about the tree until all 4 sisters had seen it. Finally, as winter chased the last autumn leaves from the tree, the birthday of the 4th and youngest princess arrived. That would be her. Now the gardener took her, too, to visit the Kingshuk tree. She asked to be taken at night, as she wanted to see it in the moonlight. And sure enough, its silvery branches, wet with dew, looked spectacular and sparkled as if they were well dressed in silver threads laced with tiny diamonds. She felt as if the mystical tree was wrapping her in its warmth and magic. The day after the youngest princess's visit, the 4 girls went to thank the gardener for taking them all to see the magical Kingshuk tree. Relieved that they could discuss it among themselves at last, the eldest princess said, "I will never forget the beautiful tree with its tiny leaves shimmering like emeralds in the afternoon sun." "But sister, you must be mistaken," cried the second eldest princess. "The Kingshuk tree was covered in huge ruby-red blossoms. Its heady perfume filled me with great feelings of happiness and joy." "Oh no, sisters, you are both quite wrong indeed," said the third princess. "The Kingshuk tree was heavy with luscious purple fruits which sparkled like giant amethysts." "Well, sisters, I think you've all seen different trees," cried the youngest princess. "The Kingshuk's branches were covered in threads of glittering dew that enchanted me with their magic." Had the sisters not been so well-mannered, there might have been an argument, but instead they simply wondered if they had seen 4 different trees. The gardener laughed. "Your highnesses," he said calmly, "you have indeed each seen the same Kingshuk tree and experienced its magic. But it was dressed for the season of your birthday when each of you visited. To truly appreciate the tree, you need to visit in all the seasons, which of course is impossible because of its invisibility." The princesses all laughed. They had forgotten that each of their birthdays fell in a different part of the year, and that the tree changed with the seasons. No wonder it had looked different on each visit. The girls also realized that the only way they would be able to discover more about the magical Kingshuk tree was by listening to and learning from each other and anyone else who'd been lucky enough to see it. And so this is like one of those stories, the end. And this is one of those stories that kind of has like a greater point, like a bigger picture lesson to be learned. And so the lesson to be learned in the story was, what we first see may not always give us the whole picture. A wise person knows that to discover the truth about anything, they must learn from other people's insights as well as their own. So I hope you enjoyed that story, and it inspired me to do an art project this week based on the reading. So we are going to need a piece of paper, a pencil, and some kind of colors, crayons, markers, colored pencils, whatever you've got, and we are going to draw a tree in all 4 seasons on one piece of paper. So go ahead and get your art supplies, and then we will get started. Okay, now that we have our supplies, what we're going to do is we're going to take our sheet of paper, and I want you to fold it in half twice. You're going to fold it in half one time, like this, and then you're going to fold it in half a second time, like this. So when you open your paper up, you should have 4 different rectangles like this. Go ahead and pause the video, fold your paper, and trace the lines with your pencil. So go ahead and pause the video and trace your, fold it and then trace the lines. Okay, great job. Okay, so today we're going to do our drawings where our paper is going horizontal, side to side like this. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw the ground in all 4 of the squares. So I'm going to do it in, I'll do it in the squares and then I'll show it to you, and then you pause the video and do the same thing. So as you can see, I drew the ground line in each one of the squares. This is where the tree is going to go. So go ahead, pause the video, and add your ground lines in all 4 of the rectangles. Great job. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to draw the first part of the tree, and I'm going to do it in one square and show it to you. You're going to, when you pause the video, you're going to draw the same thing, the same tree in all 4 of the squares. Okay, so you're going to do the same thing 4 times. So the first part of the tree that we're going to do, I'm using a crayon for mine. You're going to go ahead and just make a nice thick tree trunk like this with a brown crayon, marker, colored pencil, whatever you have, like this, and you're going to do it in all 4 of the squares. So go ahead and pause the video and make 4 tree trunks in the middle of each rectangle. Okay, so here are my 4 tree trunks, one in each rectangle. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to turn this shape into a big Y, like this. Hang on one second and I'll show you. Okay, like this. So you remember, we're drawing the same tree 4 times, so all the branches need to at least be in the same place. If the tree's a little bit different, it's okay, but we want it to look like the same tree. Notice that the top part of the Y is a little bit skinnier. The trunk is a little bit fatter, and then the branches that are coming off at the top, they're a little bit skinnier than the trunk at the bottom. So go ahead and pause the video and make your 4 Y-shaped beginning of your trees. Okay, the next branch we're going to make is going to be coming from the right side of the tree, and we're going to go out to the side like this, and you're going to do it on all of them, just on this side. So in every corner, go out to the side, and you're going to make this branch even skinnier. So go ahead and make your branch going out to the side. Pause the video and make your branch going out to the side. Good. Now we're going to make a little branch coming up from that one. Up here, up here, up here, up here. Pause the video and add your next branch. Great job. Now the next one we're going to do is we're going to make a branch from this side, and we're going to go up. Instead of going out, we're going to go straight up like this. So right here, up. So up, up. Remember, make these a little bit skinnier. As tree branches go further out, they get skinnier and skinnier. So we're going to have 4 branches going up. Pause the video, make your branches going up. Good job, guys. Okay, then we're going to make some littler branches. So littler branches, like we're going to make one that comes out this way, here, and it's just going to be a skinny branch. Pause the video and add your little branches going out. Great job. Now we're going to add a straight branch coming out from this side, like this. Straight branch out, and it's going to have a Y on the end. Straight branch out with a Y. Straight branch out with a Y, like this. And straight branch out here with a Y on the end. Lots of tree branches end in Y shapes. Go ahead and pause the video and make your branch going out with a Y. Good job. Now we're just going to add a little teeny line up here on the top of this branch. Just a little line right here. Pause the video and add your little line coming off this branch. Great job, guys. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to make one more crooked branch. We're going to make a crooked branch that's going to come in this way, like this, skinny. Kind of where this branch goes out this way, we're going to make another one that goes the other way, like this, like this. Pause the video and add this little branch to each side. Good job. And then the last part we're going to do is we're going to just make kind of a crooked, we're going to make a Y shape like this that goes this way. Here, Y shape, here, Y shape, here, a Y shape. There we go. Good job, guys. And then we're going to make a little branch coming off the side here, 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 and here. Pause the video and make your little branch coming off right here at the bottom. And then we're going to make a little teeny tiny line. See where the Y we just made? We're going to make one little branch coming up right here, right here, right here, right here. Go ahead and pause the video and add the branches. Great job. Now I want you to take the trees and I want you to turn them into the seasons. So you'll have one that's winter, so it probably won't have any leaves and it might be snowy. You'll have one where you have fall leaves falling down, one in the spring where there's just little bits of green on the tree, and then a big full one in the spring, in the summertime where it's full of green. Go ahead and create your seasonal trees and then send me a picture in Seesaw. I hope you enjoyed this activity and you have a great week. Bye. Voila. Here's the same tree in 4 different seasons. We have fall, summer, spring, and winter. Hope you have fun with this project, guys. Send me a picture on Seesaw.